The Central Bank of Belize is looking to devise a national payment system for the country. Back in October of 2016, it launched the Automated Payments of Securities Settlements System, better referred to as APS, as a main component of the reform project. This is to allow for a wider range of payment options, including the transfer of funds between banks and accounts within the same day and minutes, respectively. But come July 7th, the system will also provide banking institutions with the service for the automated clearing and processing of checks by the end of the next day.
2015, I think we had finished an RF, a request for proposal. We have all the requirements. The banks were part of that. So we signed a contract with Montran in 2015. So from then onwards, banks knew what they would have to do to get to be ready in terms of developing formats to be able to support high-value payments, formats for low-value payments, formats for IFT, formats for checks. And some of them probably started there. Every bank had to customize their back office. Every bank had to prepare for this system for October. So they had to develop first the straight-through processing, meaning that they can send payments, receive payments of all these formats to the system and receive them as well.
The automated check processing service will transform the entire procedure from deposit of checks at banks to clearing and settling via the apps. But these services are not without its costs. So will the banks or their customers take on the respective service charges?
These fees, what I can definitely say is what the central bank is charging the participants, the banks. So once the banks are putting it through, central bank will charge them at the end of the month. We do anticipate, though, that the banks will seek to recover some of these fees. The banks, we know, are innovative in recovering fees. They don't necessarily have to do a one-to-one kind of recovery charge. They can do it in their monthly fees. There are numerous ways the banks can do that. But to answer your question, specifically, these are fees that the central banks is charging to a participant bank for using the apps.
As to the risk of money laundering and cyber crimes at the national and international levels, screening will be done as is mandated by law.
In the law, we have the requirements for participation in the system, and the law sets out clearly what the requirements are, and then the central bank will assess how those are satisfied before granting any kind of licensing for another entity to be a participant in the system. Remember, we always have to be considerate of the risk factor that any player will bring, anyone. So we are always cognizant, and that is why the law is so structured.
The whole world is seeing an increase in cyber attacks, and it's not. Let me tell you that the attacks are continuous, and this has been for some time. It's just been accelerated now, and the targets are financial institutions. Well, the value has been targeted as well, but there has been an increase in terms of the methods used. The central bank is also a member of a big organization called SWIFT, where we make international money transfers, and there's collaboration at the country level and globally in terms of best practices that must be followed in terms of cyber security.
Credit unions and all banks are working towards integrating the apps directly. Duane, Moody for News 5.